we go. Hey, appreciate everybody's help. Work makes the dream work. Okay, now just methods, movements, main movements, things like that. Kind of the why. So really, for us, we get three main questions, conjugate wise. Why do we box squat when everybody free squat tests? Okay. Why the wide stance? Okay. The perception of sport is everything should be placed under your feet or under your hips. And why you don't clean or snatch. Okay. For the box squat. All right. That's really the main question that we get. For me, the box squat is a great tool to one, teach, but then two, apply to sport. Okay. Everything is sport is static to dynamic, stop to start. Okay. The box squat is exactly that movement. Okay. The other part that you get with the box squat is you can't cheat your depth. Okay. Everybody agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Wrong. Kids learn how to cheat their depth. Okay. And here's why. If you're not teaching them properly how to box squat, where you're sitting back to the box, they can move their feet back and drop this way. So you have to watch that when you're coaching them how to box squat, right? So the key for box squatting, you can see with Rob, right? He's got a vertical shin. So shin's pretty much straight up and down, okay? If I have my knees coming forward and I'm sitting here, I can cheat that range probably 4 to 6 inches, okay? So again, the idea that you can't cheat the range in the box squat is true if doing it right. If you maneuver your body around it, yes, you still can. So you have to coach the kids out of that. So here's a look at pretty much a perfect box squat. Okay, you're looking at an NFL guy that's, so again, you see a wide stance, he sits back, he pauses, he stands up. There's no bounce off the box, all right? It's not a trampoline, okay? You see that a lot on social media, okay? We're not looking for him to cave and collapse into the box. Excuse me, he sits back, he pauses, and he stands up. He's got a great stance, he pushes his knees away, and again, from a perspective of anything sport, all right, everything is basically, you know, serve in volleyball, receiving a serve in tennis. Anything you do in sport is stop to start, okay? And again, I firmly believe the better you can box squat, the better your free squat will be. Because again, when you free squat, you're probably not going to be as wide when you actually free squat, okay? Box squatting, you're gonna go wide. Here's an example of Kenna's first day with us. We're teaching him exactly how to box squat in a goblet stance. He's got a great stance here. It's a great way to teach younger athletes how to do the movement, how to sit back, how to brace. Again, it comes back to static to dynamic. Limits the ability to have a stretch reflex when you squat, because you go down, you can bounce out of it, okay? When you're free squatting, all right, you can limit this. So again, when you then go squat, you have that ability to add that back into your movement. Great carryover, all right? It's very measurable and it's very repeatable. Anything free, there's you know, the ability for the guy to sit, or athlete to sit a little higher, sit a little lower. This is repeatable. You get them in the right, you can put tape on the ground if you want for kids to make sure they have their foot position in the exact spot, okay? Goblet squatting, 30 pounds. Here's him back squatting 400 pounds. Box squatting 400 pounds 2.5 years later. It's a struggle, but he gets it. Sits back.
Yup, let's go.
And he stays on through it. Everything's tight, everything's locked in. You know, and again, it starts very basic, and it really comes down to having the patience. Really comes down to being patient with the kids, teaching them how to do things the right way, and then progressing them through a systematic approach. Okay? And when that happens, I mean, he's probably a 430-pound free squatter. So again, he's a little bit better in his free squat than he is his box squat. But again, to me, I think the box squat is harder. I think most people would flip that and they think the box squat is easier. I think the box squat is way harder than a free squat. Yeah. Second question we get, okay, why the wide stance? Okay, so again, you'll see Rob doing his box squat here, or his sumo pull. Okay, so he's out wide, all right, and then same with the box squat, he's wide here. Okay, and again, really to me, like if I can see that video again of him. So here, right, you see his foot in knee position where he stands up. So he's here, almost the exact same thing. Just moving the bar into a different place. Okay? So why the wide stance? That's why. Everything in sport is wide. Everybody play, like, I mean, MJ in his defensive stance, right? A baseball hitter, pitcher. I mean, and these are like some of the best of the best. Here, that girl from Texas Tech, I mean, she throws like 80, I think. Okay? Joe Thomas up top, a pitcher down the mound, hockey player skating, Serena receiving a serve, the governor, Jordan Larson, receiving a serve up top. Okay? Everything in sport is played out wide. There's a misconception that everything has to be with your feet underneath you. Okay? In an ideal world, yeah, but that's not what sport is. Okay? So we have to get our athletes stronger in these positions because they're forced into them pretty much anything they play. Okay? Pretty much anything they play. And to me, using that sumo stance deadlift is one of the best exercises for females, getting them stronger, as well as pitchers. We've seen an incredible amount of kids in our baseball program increase their velocity throwing as their sumo deadlift goes up. And also the correlation with their vertical jump. So our pitchers, if their sumo deadlift goes up, if their vertical jump goes up, their velocity goes up. It's crazy. Okay, had a pitcher, kid was, he started with me when he was 15. He was 77 to 79 off the mound his freshman year. He was 81 to 83 his sophomore year. Really adjusted and adapted into the weight room. He hit 90 his junior year. And now he's throwing 93, 94. I think he's in double A right now. And again, we bumped his sumo deadlift. We bumped his worked on his vertical jump. Okay, and that velocity kicks up. Because again, pitching is a max effort exercise when you look at it. Okay, why the wide stance? You get way more glute hamstring activation. You take out the quads a little bit more. So it really focuses glute hamstring to work more, be more active. So again, then when you free squat, right, you get more quad activation in that movement. So again, you can recruit the larger muscles to help you squat more. Creates that stronger carryover to sport. Aids in deceleration, okay? And what I mean by that, we talked about running deceleration, you have to decelerate to the box. And when you're wider, I have to use my hips and hamstrings to decelerate. Well, where do most hamstring injuries occur? Deceleration, not when you're sprinting. Very few guys pull their hamstring when they're sprinting. It's when they take that last step and they slow down. That's where it goes. So again, it aids in deceleration. You saw, I hope, on the box squats that guys aren't crashing into the box. I get guys from Wisconsin that come to me like for after their combine or pro day, and like they're here and they get to here and it's because they have no glutes and hamstrings. Right? They've been allowed to squat high, and they don't use their hips when they squat. They're quad dominant squatters. Okay? And again, like I said, you bring the feet a little closer together, it only makes your squat pattern better. You know what I mean? What's so funny? Yeah.
Quad dominant as opposed to hamstring weak. They're hamstring weak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
They're not quad
Yeah, I'm trying to stay positive. Yeah. But I mean, and that's again, like, not only are they not doing it right in the squat pattern, but they're also not training it in their auxiliaries, right? They're not forcing them to load their RDLs. They're not doing, higher end, high volume hamstring work. So that's where, a lot of these colleges are afraid of that. They're afraid of it because they don't want their kids to get sore. Then all of a sudden they're worried about the injury report. So I don't want to make them sore. I don't want to, put them in those positions. Okay, I was talking about the clean. Okay, so again, we do this all the time. And I'm sure you guys, I think the clean is a great movement when you can teach it. Okay, I think at this level, okay, even at the college level now, if I went back, I would not clean my guys. I just wouldn't. The risk reward is not that great. Most of your kids are not getting triple extension when they clean. Okay, now, we talked about this, right? This was his 405-pound clean. Okay, that's me back when I could really get up in the air here. Watch. Yeah. So, now imagine trying to get ready to do another, you know what I mean? So it's just not going to happen. But, like when you look at simple math here, Travis was a 725-pound squatter to depth. Okay, great squatter. He was a 585-pound front squatter. That was his best clean. 405 pounds. Okay, so when you start to look at, all right, when you put it into the dynamic method, okay, when you look here, right, if we're going to use a dynamic method with Travis, all right, squatting versus cleaning for bar speed, because again, he's not going to be able to move that clean that fast, right? That wasn't a very fast clean, okay? So when you talk about bar speed, we talk about the dynamic method, you talk about weight times speed, okay? So when you break down the math, if you're going to try and do more dynamic work with the clean or the squat, okay, Travis, 725-pound squatter, okay? 50% of that is 360 pounds, okay? And then if you add accommodating resistance, okay, you're right in that 525 mark, okay, which is pretty heavy, okay? He's gonna go 9 sets of 3 with that accommodating weight added in. That's 14,000 pounds that he's moving in that short amount of time. And he can do it. I've seen him do it with chains, okay? So with that said, now you start to look at the amount of volume he's doing, all right? And then you also add speed pulls into that with the timing of it. So again, if Travis is pulling, 365 for singles with some bands, things like that, now you're adding another, 8 to 10,000 pounds. Now, he was the strongest kid I've ever trained. So I'm using like the highest end example to show this right now. But it also shows like the difference between what guys squat and what they clean. Okay, like the best Olympic weightlifters can clean roughly 75 to 80% of what they can squat. Right, and those guys are the people that have been cleaning since they've been 6 and are at the Olympics. You guys have high school kids, so when you look at this here, even if he does 305 pounds, okay, and can move it, there's no way that he can move the bar with the speed that we're looking for in a dynamic day, okay, with that weight. Why? Okay, because the clean is such a technical exercise that the fatigue variable really kind of kicks it out of the being able to do a dynamic day with it, because your technique has to be on point, okay? And so again, even if he can do it, okay, he's going to need more time, because trying to do it clean like every 30 seconds to do 3 of them, right? I mean, the clean is two to three different movements depending on how you look at it. You have the pull, you have the catch, and you have the front squat, okay? So again, you're also limited by how much you can front squat in the clean. Okay, so there's so many reasons why technique and speed will slow down. These are high school kids, right? We're talking about high school kids. We're not talking about, I think he was NFL All-Pro 5 out of 7 years. Best center in the league. We're not talking about that. We're talking about high school kids. So there's no way their technique's going to be good. Yet you can teach every kid in your gym to sit down on a box and stand up. Every single kid. Every single kid can learn how to stand here, sit back on a box, count to 1, and then stand up. So you can teach that, okay? The work capacity to do that, most kids don't have the work capacity to do this. They just don't, even like higher end people. So, I can't remember if I put this slide in here or not. I did not. Okay, so when you look at a 400-pound squatter, which is realistic, okay, in high school, okay? We shared that on the dynamic effort slide, right? So it's about 8,000 pounds of volume that they can move, okay, right? They're doing 200, 9 sets of 3, 27 reps, can be 8,100 pounds that they're going to be able to move dynamically, okay? So if this 400-pound squatter, let's assume he is just an incredible power cleaner and can, he can, front squat, because again, the clean is hampered by your front squat. So let's say, even though most guys or girls front squats around 75% of their back squat, let's say you do 90%, okay? Because now we're going to try and argue for the clean. Let's say he can do 90%, okay? So at 90%, that would put him at 360 for his front squat. And let's say he can do roughly 90% on his clean of what he front squats. Okay, so let's say that he can do 315 for his clean. Okay, you're already really close to that on your dynamic weight at the top anyways. But if you take 75% of that, that's going to be like about 250, okay, for the power clean. Even then, there's no way that that kid's gonna be able to move that weight 27 times as fast. The 27th rep will never be as fast as the first rep. So that it's just, when you look at the math of the clean versus the box squat, the speed squat, or even speed pulls, because then the argument comes in, well, the clean is from the ground and we put our hand on the ground. Well, speed pull in. You know, any argument that someone wants to throw at me, I can argue it with math or any other variable, because it's just too technical of an exercise to get the result that everybody talks about. Okay, and it's just too technical. I don't have the ability to do that in my weight room. You guys probably don't have the. You're going to need, if you have 30 kids in a weight room, you're going to need 10 to 12 coaches to teach this. At Wisconsin, I did 6 months. 6 months, 2 days a week, 30 to 45 minutes, 2 guys per group. For 6 months to teach those guys how to clean.
That's a lot of time.
A lot of extra time, and a lot of NCAA rules probably broken, okay, to be honest with you. So 2 guys at a time, because we call it voluntary. Like, if you want to be a better cleaner, you have to come and work on this, you know, and so. But think about that. How long it takes, you know what I mean? You guys are talking about your coaches want to clean. Like, give me 5 minutes with them. We'll put you up on the grease board.
That's the best athletes.
That's one of the best linemen ever trained.
You're talking about middle school, high school kids.
We are.
Spending that much time.
We are. Yeah, I mean, you give them things they can do. Like, I love the clean. I do. Watching a kid hit a great clean. I mean, I got videos on here if you want to look at them when we're done. I mean, we had some fun in Wisconsin. I might kick chalk boxes over. I mean, it was a good time. But, and I really dived into what I know now. Like, everybody's like, well, it's a power activity, right? 90% of these kids aren't getting triple extension. You watch them on the internet, and it's here. And then the other part that I never understood is like, what's with slamming your feet into the ground? It's like, who can make the most noise? It's like jumping, you know, they're slamming their heels in the ground, you know, and things like that. For us, this is how we develop power, right? Weighted jumps, right? Anywhere from like 15 to 25% of your max squat. We use a jump system, jump free, very similar to like what Jared Bidney does with explosive mechanics. Incredible results with that. We tailor it a little bit more to approach jumps as well as vertical jumps. Max sprinting. Okay, we talked about that. 2 to 4, right? Sprinting is the best exercise for developing power, right? It's the most force production. Okay? But again, we can't do it in a scenario where you're conditioning. It's got to be a max effort sprint. We also use Louis' system of volume-based jumps. So 30 to 40 jumps 2 times a week. Okay, that's right out of Louis' literature. Okay? We've even gone weighted jumps 2 days a week, volume jumps the other 2, because we do our weighted jumps like 8 to 10 jumps. So some days we'll do max jumping, some days we'll do repetitive jumps. And then here, like med ball throws, like you want to look at upper body, okay, we'll throw med balls. Again, it's the same thing. Like when you look at the jerk, okay, I love push jerks, I love split jerks. But again, like a lot of kids aren't strong enough to stabilize over their head. They don't have the ability to move weight very fast. The snatch, we played, I don't want to say their name, we played a school in a ball game. And I talked to their athletic trainer. They had 27 kids going in from labrum surgeries. And the school, they kept snatching and snatching and snatching. And the reason why I do not like the snatch is, one, most kids just grab the bar, right? They don't reset themselves, and they swing it, right? And I mean, it's great. You could probably get a lot of momentum, but what happens? Something has to stop the bar. Something has to stop the bar. Your posterior shoulder stops the bar, and it's not meant to stop things. Okay, it's meant to hold you in place. All right, so we throw med balls overhead. Tons of med ball slams, med ball push jerks, yeah.
All right, for the sake of argument.
Let's go.
Just,
yeah, I know.
Okay,
I know.
For, let's just say, 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
To freshman, sophomore.
Yeah.
Trap bar jumps.
Yeah, love them. Yeah.
Throw the clean out.
Yeah, love it.
Sure.
Yeah. The weighted jumps,
yeah.
Weighted jumps are great. Yeah. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
same percentage.
Because you're getting the triple extension.
Yeah.
with the trap bar, but you're not getting, you're saving a kid's body versus trying to show them the technical.
100%.
And,
Jump
and
them
it's
and throw
so
'em.
much simpler, and it
Yeah.
simplifies it, breaks it down, and makes it easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for like med ball throws, like
Right.
give them distance to throw.
Yeah.
Like anytime you make a kid compete, so like the jumps, put them on a jump mat or an OVR.
Right.
You gotta measure them.
You get an argument from parents. Oh, but so and so at university, they're doing cleans.
Great. They get paid $500,000 to teach that.
And the same argument, the argument that I was, okay, well, let's take steps. Your kid's here in 8th grade.
Yeah.
You're looking how many years ahead?
Right.
ahead?
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
So
It's just it's good to hear it
Hear it.
reinforced, like,
Yeah.
because you hear it all the time, like, oh no, they should be doing this, should clean this. I'm like, no.
No. Show me where the clean transitions over to sprint speed. I mean, just, you know what I mean? Like, just show it to me. Very few people will have that. You know what I mean? And then with the med ball, you know, same thing. Like, if you're gonna jump them, like maximal jump them, or if you're gonna max throw them, give them distances or measure their jumps all the time. Because that's how you get max intent. Okay? And then the dynamic day, you know, obviously these are the speed movements, right? You got a speed pull, boom, right? You have the speed bench, you know, and then you have high intent on the speed squat
Good. Good.
with a pause.
So how do you plug in the weighted jumps? Do you do that on dynamic?
We'll do them on both.
Both?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do them, we'll always do them like almost like potentiation. So we'll do them before we do anything.
You do them before you squat?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know if you.
Or after, we'll do both.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have like a dynamic day, we'll speed squat, and then maybe we'll do like the jumps instead of speed pulls one day.
Okay.
I mean, so we'll throw a lot of different, or we'll do all three.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you compare them like squat, raise
Uh-huh.
the bar, go jump?
Yep, we've done that too. We'll do like a little bit of like almost like a contrast.
Yeah.
So we'll do like a speed squat, a weighted jump, and then the assisted jump after. And then we'll just cut the volume down in the squatting. You know what I mean? Because you're getting a little bit more jumping and you get things like that. So you just gotta be attentive to the volume, but yeah.
What was that lineup again? You did
So we'll do like a speed squat, like a triple,
for triple, then go straight.
then
to
we'll go right to a weighted jump,
weighted jump,
and then we'll do an assisted jump.
An assisted jump.
Yeah. Yep.
Have you ever done the other way where you go heavy then jump?
Like a max effort squat and then jump. Oh yeah.
Then jump?
Oh yeah. Yep. We've done. I mean, you could do like you could get really creative with this. Like you can do a speed pull into a 10-yard start, right? Because now you're getting potentiation from a starting position into a starting position. You know what I mean? So like it just really comes down to how creative you want to be.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, Coach, have you ever done like a heavy squat into broad jumps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that you?
Yep. You know, and the other thing we'll look at too is like we'll look at how our kids jump as far as what their accessories are. So like if you have a kid that jumps and he goes kind of straight down and straight up, right? So then we'll program more like as his first accessory, like a goblet squat or a front squat. You know what I mean? So instead of like trying to make everyone jump the same, we're gonna train them in how their body mechanics work. So like if I'm like a pretty much like a vertical jumper where I go here and I keep my chest up, so we're gonna train them more in their accessories, a little bit more goblet squat, a little more front squat. If I am like a lean forward person, then I'll do like more RDL work with them. Because again, now we're training them in their pattern. Because like to try and break their jump pattern, you're probably doing them a disservice because they've learned how to jump like that their whole life. So instead of making everybody one-stop shop, one size fits all jump pattern, we just train them mechanically of how their body works. Because a lot of kids don't understand the concept of loading when they jump. They want to hip hinge their way out of it. Okay, well then we'll get you really strong at hip hinging and see how you jump. Same as squat. Yeah. Again, more things here. There's just not enough eyes. There's not enough eyes to coach this at a high level. You know, for us, in and out of seasons, our kids are inconsistent, right? So again, like if you have a scenario at your high school and you have a 2 or 3 sport athlete, when are you going to teach them how to do things because they're in season the whole time? You don't want to be teaching them how to clean while they're playing in season. You know, most kids swing the snatch. Most kids don't have the wrist flexibility and shoulder flexibility to get to this position. You know, at a violent level, right? Some of them can get front squat, they can hold it there, and you know, and you can do all the different drills. You can sit, hold them there for a minute, and do all that. But like, is that what you want to spend your time on, or do you want to teach them how to squat? You know, Most kids don't ever achieve triple extension. The risk reward, like we said about, and then the thing for me is like, these are Olympic sports. Like, like speed skating, or like the luge, or like all that other stuff. Like these people work on this stuff 4 to 5 hours a day.
Breakdancing.
Yeah, man, those guys can move. Like I'm not gonna get on them. Like I ain't mad at them. But I mean, the amount of time they work on that exercise, you don't have the time. You just don't. And so again, it comes down to most of us only have 60 minutes with our kids, or 70. Like our sessions are 75. So you don't have the time. That's why we don't do it. All right, on those 3 questions: wide stance, box squat. Why we don't Olympic lift? Any questions there? Yes, sir.
I have a question. It's not, I guess it's kind of based on foot position. You
Sure.
said earlier before lunch about not doing staggered
Yeah.
stance stuff. Is that across the board? You don't stagger? Or is it
Yeah,
just,
we do a little bit like on the hex bar, but it's not like a prime.
so for
I
certain
think-
athletes, for all athletes, you don't see
Pretty
the,
much,
you don't see the
pretty
point
much
in
for
it?
all.
Hmm.
I do see it, right? But I would rather do a Bulgarian split squat
Okay.
with them than like a split hex bar.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I know the split hex bar is really, becoming more popular. I just have never really used it.
Yeah,
You
so
know?
outside of like a return to play kind of arena, not too much
Yeah.
staggered stance
No,
stuff.
outside of like I said, like a reverse lunge. So it's more,
Yeah, for
so it's a
sure.
bigger like stance than just yeah. We don't.
Okay.
We don't. I don't think they're bad. We just don't do them.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. Any questions, guys? Do you guys that want? Hey, Burley, would now be a good time if they want to hit the store quick? You guys want to? Because I know some of you guys were talking about. Why don't you guys hit the store quick and we'll hit the last 2 topics real quick here though, if we can. Okay. Now we'll do it real quick. That way everybody can get what they need, and then we can hit the last 2 things here.